Hi, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining us today. My name is Louise, and I'm here with Jasmine.
Hi, everybody.
We're not going to be talking as much as asking questions and listening. That's really what this is about. It's a listening session.
That's great, because I don't think anybody has listened to me since my wife passed away, before she passed away.
Yeah, I mean, what he said about listening, I'm actually still married.
And Edgar, I'm Edgar.
What Edgar said is really true. I lost my baby due to what they call complications, and I can't say to this day that I understand what that means.
Could you say more about that?
Yeah, like if my husband or I asked questions, they thought we were being a pain or something. And then I really tried to ask questions in a respectful way. But, it's not like on TV where you have a relationship with your doctor.
I'm so sorry, Leticia, about what happened to you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry too, Leticia. My baby is almost 1, and honestly, I'm still scared for him. I heard that between 1 month and 1 year, there's a lot that could go wrong.
Yes, well, let me tell all of you that your concerns are exactly why we're here. What if I told you that African Americans have the highest infant mortality rate of any group in this country?
I'd say being Black in America, the gift that keeps giving.
Really? How could that be?
Well, that's exactly what the governor's task force is trying to find out with these listening sessions.
I'm about to start my 3rd trimester, and all of this really freaks me out. My boyfriend keeps trying to tell me to keep calm, but what is it?
Well, for a long time, researchers thought it was a lack of prenatal care.
Okay, but how could that be it? I took all the prenatal vitamins and I went to all of the visits. I still lost my baby.
Exactly, Leticia. It kept happening anyway.
Maybe it's not on our end. Maybe it's like the system. I work with this girl, she's white, and we both got pregnant at the same time, so we became work friends. She had a prenatal visit and asked me to go with her because her boyfriend was working. So I go. I'd already been to a bunch with my first pregnancy and a couple with this one, so I had in mind what it was going to be like. I couldn't believe how well she was treated. They talked to her in this way that was
Kind?
Yes, that's it. And she had her other daughter with her, and nobody asked if they had the same father. That's the first thing I get asked when I bring Dante with me, anywhere.
She had better insurance than you.
But we pay exactly the same price.
But you live in different zip codes?
I said something like that to her, but she said I was dreaming. It's like she was saying the very experience that I was having wasn't real.
That is so stressful.
Yeah, but it happens all the time. Some people saying what I'm experiencing isn't real. It's like one tiny cut after another. It adds up. And it's not just at the doctor's, at school, the grocery store, my job.
That's a really good observation.
I don't know. It seems like not in here, but in mixed company, if you know what I mean. People don't see the differences.
The differences?
Yeah, and how we get treated. Even some of the people who are supposed to help you don't see it. If other Black women are losing babies like I did,
They are at twice the rate.
I was dying to have a relationship with my doctors like I see on TV. A trusting team in the room when I delivered, but I didn't ask a lot of questions because I felt dumb.
Well, you're not dumb.
I know that at home, but with the doctor, it was like they already decided who I was. So I sat back and they were silent. It made me feel small.
The challenge is finding someone that cares, that genuinely cares and listens to what you have to say, even if you don't say it all that well.
When I watch that channel on TV, they go on and on about people getting benefits who don't deserve it. They're talking about us. Then when they report that we lose our babies at higher rates, they're like, see, those people don't know how to take care of their own kids. Some folks call that a dog whistle, but I call it a bullhorn.
I was looking at Insta, thinking about how when some people get pregnant, it's such a blessing. But when others get pregnant, like poor people, we're immoral. Which is it, people?
So you feel judged differently?
Yes. I feel like I work, I'm just still poor. That doesn't mean I don't deserve to have a baby to love. When some women lose their babies, it's like it's a tragedy. But when others lose theirs, it's like, what did you do? But
I didn't even hear about postpartum care until after my baby had died. And he only lived 20 hours and I still dream about him. So when you say that there's this huge gap between white infant mortality and Black, that's really hard to handle. Because I think about Jamal, that was my baby who died. And I say, what did I do wrong? What is it about Black people, about me in particular, that makes us lose our babies? This doesn't really make me feel better.
What if it really isn't your fault? There's no Black women lose baby gene.
You sure about that?
No, there isn't.
Because to tell you the truth, sometimes I wonder. I wonder.
Do you wonder about stress?
nobody has time to worry about stress. Like me, I'm just trying to find a new apartment for me and my baby. I'd like to live near my mom, but it's really hard.
Why?
Because I can't afford to live where she lives on my pay. There's a lot of gunshots in my neighborhood. I mean, you can hear gunshots in her neighborhood too, just not as many.
I gave up trying to be near my mom. She has to work all the time anyway. Like the white moms on my job, they have all these family women who don't have to work. They can help with the kids, go grocery shopping. I don't know anybody who doesn't have to work.
How many of you are having problems with housing? What are the main issues?
It's hard to find somewhere decent to live on what I make. I found a place for me and my wife and my son, but it was by this dump. Turned out it was toxic. We found out too late, and my wife, who had asthma, it got worse and worse until she,
Did she pass away?
yeah.
Mm.
Basically, the environment killed my wife. The air. But all the air isn't like this, just where we live.
I'm so sorry, Edgar. So sorry.
Maybe I should have taken more time off. But my job pays so low, I don't get paid family leave. That's not something people like me get offered. My wife tried to get some assistance, but that didn't work either because I was living at home. It's like you have to be one of those absent fathers so your wife and kids can get some help. It's backwards. I didn't mean to get off the subject, sorry.
No, you didn't. You know, you all hit on issues that are really important to the discussion of Black infant mortality. That's not all about the medical system.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of systems in your lives that you might not connect with losing a child, but they all help determine your health outcomes.
What are they? You have to tell us.
We will. These are difficult issues. But for now, I'm gonna let us take a break, get ourselves some water and some tissues, and then we'll all come back and find out what they are. Is that okay with everybody? Good. See you in 5. Hi, everybody. We're back. Ready to continue?
We were talking about housing.
Can I just say something? I'm glad Edgar said what he said about the traps in the system.
Why is that?
Because so much of this is related. Housing, getting food. If I don't shop before I get on the 2 buses it takes me to get from home to work, we don't eat. There's nothing in my neighborhood that's healthy.
Word. It's as if they throw the food out in the good neighborhoods and stock our stores with it. I picked up some cheese the other day and it had green mold on it. People say eat more vegetables, and we don't mean French fries. I'm like, where? I'm gonna waste food stamps on that stuff.
And when my baby's father was put in jail, which, take it from me, is not that hard to have happen around here, the whole family has this, stigma placed on them. Your whole resource network shrinks. The wait lists for help are crazy long. Help you're supposed to be able to get, but people judge you.
Why'd your man get arrested? If you don't mind me asking.
He was doing deliveries in this other neighborhood. He saw an apartment for rent sign and decided to ask. Some nosy neighbor called the cops. When he didn't come home, we were all going crazy. It was a week before he even got to see the judge.
It's hard enough trying to look for an apartment without thinking you're going to get arrested.
All anybody would show me was an apartment in a bad neighborhood. I'd rather be on the street in a tent with my kids than breathe the air that killed my wife. But you know what? All anybody would see is this homeless man endangering my kids. Thank goodness I found you, miss.
Dr. L, I'm hearing a number of factors that I think we can address now.
I agree. First of all, we want to share with you some things that we know from doing a lot of these interviews and looking at studies that have real numbers associated with them. The differences are real. But to answer your earlier question, Leticia, it's not your race that's the issue. It's racism.
Wait, is that true?
Yes. How healthy you are isn't just based on how you exercise and eat. There are social factors too.
Like how bad is the air you breathe?
Yes, and more. These are the so-called social determinants of health. Access to safe housing, access to jobs, education, health insurance. These are largely responsible for health inequities.
So what can I do about where I live? You think I'm gonna go up in a white neighborhood and ask them to rent to me?
And what about the doctor visit with my coworker? Ooh, this is so unfair. It makes my blood boil.
Yeah, literally. Bias in clinical treatment is documented. An Institute of Medicine report found that people of color are less likely to receive needed services, even when their insurance and income are the same as white people's.
So Jasmine, you're saying what exactly?
I'm saying that all of these things add up to stress. Not just what you experience around your pregnancy, but around your whole life. Systems most of you have had nothing to do with creating, but have to deal with every day.
Like how affordable housing for us can be toxic.
Exactly. It's the structures you live under that stress you. Every time we encounter inequities, being treated badly by a doctor or a rental agent or a social service person, our cortisol is elevated. It builds up. Like how you were saying, Patrice, 1,000 tiny cuts.
I knew it. It's like when I got my new apartment, I was relieved. But then they wanted to do a home visit and I got scared because it's really small and I started freaking out because what if they think it's too small and take my kid? I was so nervous I felt sick.
Cortisol, it takes its toll.
You're saying that all these encounters we have literally make us sick?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. The mythology in this state, this country, is one of personal responsibility. And I'm all for personal responsibility. But how can that be achieved when the systems privilege one group over all others?
I meditate. It's the only thing that calms me down.
Oh, that's really good. But it doesn't fix the systems. Health experts think that stress throughout the whole course of a woman's life can trigger biological changes that affect the health of her future children. Stress can disrupt immune, vascular, metabolic, and endocrine systems and cause cells to age more quickly.
Well, can that create complications?
Sometimes.
So what you're saying is that everything we've talked about, medical care, childcare, housing, not getting enough information, is all part of what stresses us and causes these high rates of infant deaths?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
People are going to argue with you. They're going to say it's something in us. Our morals, our diet, our hair, I don't know. They'll say that South Asian communities are dark complexions and don't have this.
Oh, and I tell them that 30% of their male population isn't incarcerated, that their women don't have to stress at a police stop because they're afraid their husband might be killed.
How do you know all this? What do you do?
I'm a mother, but I'm also a nurse and a doula.
What's a doula?
Someone who works with mothers around their pregnancies. I'm interested in better health outcomes for our mothers.
You have an organization, don't you?
I do, and we've helped over 300 families in the past decade.
How?
By loving them.
What? You gotta be kidding.
You want to explain?
For me, loving is doing. So I have mothers and fathers, Edgar. I have them come into meetings and love them.
Love them?
That means helping them find an apartment or furnishing to put in it. Sometimes it's role playing to help them feel more comfortable talking to a doctor, or maybe just educating them about child development milestones or safety at home. Every one of my babies have lived past their first birthday.
I could use something like that.
Me too.
I can give you my cards.
How about you put some of that information up at bus stops?
Now, see, that's what I'm talking about. Being able to go to a place where all the resources and information are in one place. Don't laugh, but I get all my important information from the bus shelter wall.
Okay, yeah, but she's only one person. There's a lot of us who need help.
I could train you, Leticia, whenever you're ready.
I wouldn't even know how to begin.
You already did begin by coming here, talking.
Look, I know it would be good for me, and I know all about it. Being broke all the time, feeling funny, talking to doctors, and feeling weird when social workers come to the house. Like I don't have a nice enough place to have a kid. I've watched my sister struggle with childcare.
I wasn't expecting this listening session to be so,
Rio,
I suppose,
What are you going to do with all this information?
sort it out, categorize it, and get work making systemic changes.
good luck with that.
No, Edgar, we're going to do this. And what you're all giving us by just talking with us is the foundation. A lot of people are working on it. We're going to get this done. Thank you all so much for sharing your lives and your stories.